my first video on the recipes for behaviors. And I'm going to start out with, how does a chronic liar get created? Well, it starts out with a cup of fear based on survival. Lies usually begin when the truth feels dangerous, physically, emotionally, or socially. It could be childhood punishment, social rejection, or learned offense. The second ingredient is the third quarter cup of emotional rejection. At some point, maybe their true self wasn't safe to express. Maybe their emotions were dismissed or ignored. So they created a version of themselves that was more acceptable. The third ingredient, a half a cup of learned deception from role models. Maybe they grew up in an environment where lying was normal, necessary, or possibly even rewarded. This could be parents lying to them or others, being told secrets to protect the family, seeing dishonesty as getting better results than honesty. The fourth ingredient is a half a cup of performance-based love. They were only valued when they performed well, pleased others, or upheld an image, and their real flawed, messy self wasn't enough. So they learned to craft realities that worked for them and got them accepted, respected, important. The fifth ingredient, a third cup of forced silence. Maybe they tried to tell the truth once and it backfired. Maybe they said, "This happened to me," and they were told, "Well, that's not true. You imagined it. You can't say that." And when truth becomes a liability, lies become a survival tool. Number 6 ingredient is a third cup of social reinforcement. They realized lying helped them, whether it avoided pain, gained approval, or kept things easy. The more they lied, the more people accepted them, so the pattern deepened. And then 2 tablespoons of self-deception. When you lie long enough, you start to believe your own lies, and the brain actually reshapes memories, making deception feel like reality. Have you ever had an experience where you're trying to tell somebody that didn't happen and they're like, "No, yes, it did happen"? This happens a lot within families. One person remembers one story and another one, their story is completely different. So they might not even know they're lying anymore. A pinch of guilt and shame is the next ingredient that gets buried. Deep down, they may feel guilt, but facing it's too painful. So instead of confronting the past lies, they double down on the false narrative. How does this play out into adulthood? They aren't just choosing to lie. They're operating from a programmed reality. They've been conditioned to see truth as unsafe, unnecessary, or ineffective. How do we approach chronic liars? With awareness versus judgment. We drop the need to expose them. A liar's greatest fear is being seen for who they are and being rejected for it. So when we try to catch them in a lie, we reinforce their survival instincts that created the behavior in the first place. So then we can recognize their lies aren't personal. Lying's about them. It's not about us. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about them and their own survival mode that they developed. And the more we take it personally, the more it triggers our own judgment. When we judge, we're no longer free. Remember, we've created a space. We've created a locked-in labyrinth. So the third thing we can do is create space for truth without demand. If someone's not used to being accepted for their truth, demanding it won't work. Instead, create an environment where honesty isn't punished. Right, and we don't want to tell people what to do. "Oh, you need to tell the truth." Well, that creates more defensiveness. They back up and they dig into their lie. So this doesn't mean tolerating the manipulation. It means removing the fear response that makes lying their default. So ask yourself, what are they afraid of? Behind every lie, there's fear. Fear of being seen, fear of rejection, fear of punishment, fear of not being enough. If you can see the fear instead of the lie, you bring more light into the conversation. Do you see yourself in this? How do you break free? If you're caught up in this programming, this pattern of behavior, and it's uncomfortably familiar, and you've been called out as a liar multiple times, like, how can you undo it? Because it can be undone. You can do this by admitting that the lies are there, acknowledging it to yourself with no shame, no punishment, just awareness. And then identify what you're afraid of. Ask yourself, what am I protecting? What happens if I can tell the truth? Identify where the core issue began and shed light on it. And then you can begin to start with small honesty. And you don't have to reveal everything at once. Just start by being honest about small things where the stakes feel low. Accept that truth might feel uncomfortable, but lying creates an illusion of control. There's really not control there. Truth brings uncertainty, but it also brings freedom. The truth sets us free. Always. Forgive yourself for any past deception. The lies served a purpose at one time, but you don't need them anymore. If you want freedom, you really don't need them. And then surround yourself with people who value truth over image. If you've been lying to fit in, it's time to find people who accept the real you. You don't have to lie. You don't have to pretend. You don't have to put a filter to feel accepted. Do you feel like that's a form of deception? I kind of do. I want to look pretty too, but it's not who I genuinely am. I just want to be me. I want to be accepted for me. I hope you do too. Practice self-honesty every day. And the first person you need to stop lying to is yourself. The more honest you can be internally, the less need you'll have to deceive externally. Freedom over judgment. The more judgment we hold, the less light we have. If we're judging others for lying or we're judging ourselves, we're keeping ourselves in a dark room. Let's turn the light on. When we understand why people lie, we can stop reacting with anger and respond with clarity. And instead of fighting the deception, we create a space where truth is safe again. We don't need to fight darkness. We just need to turn the light on. I hope this really helps bring awareness and acceptance of the people around you that we love tremendously, but just don't understand where they're coming from. This will help us to understand and accept them and allow them to walk into the truth.